Welcome to Cash Talk, the podcast where we delve into the depths of finance, business, and life itself. I'm your host, John Cachia, a multi-award-winning wealth advisor with a passion for empowering ambitious Australians to confidently achieve financial freedom. Hey everyone, before we get started, this is a quick reminder that everything in this podcast is of a general nature and nothing has been tailored to your personal circumstances. So please seek personal financial advice before acting on this information. Welcome back, and today I'm joined once again by Ayten. Ayten, how are you?
Good, John. How are you?
Yeah, not bad at all. Coffeed up this morning, ready to kind of go, so which is always a good help. But busy being dad and working on the business. There's always moving parts. What about yourself?
Yes, that woman. I'm not busy being a dad. I'm busy being a mum and working. So yeah, definitely a busy time of year for sure.
That's it. Kids going back to school and kinders and childcares and stuff like that. It just gets. Sometimes it's kind of good that, they kind of get back and for parents, they get a little bit of relief, but, as well too, we miss them a lot. So,
yeah, back to the schedule, I think always helps.
Yeah, that's it. But today we're not going to be talking about childcares and stuff like that. We want to be talking about around trusting the process. And what I mean by that is around, we have a lot of people that obviously come to see us and they initially have the greatest motivations to change, but when they go through the initial process, they don't put themselves in a position to change. And it's something that I really want to discuss because I find that the same with a lot of other things in life, but I really want to kind of get into financial advice. And Ayten, I know that you've been seeing this as well too, and it's really interesting when you observe the clients that have been with us for a long time and then obviously become very financially successful, living their fulfilled life. I really do reflect on the differences between people like that and people that, tip their toe in the water but never kind of execute really. Yeah. What's your observations been in regards to that?
Yeah, so I guess to seek financial advice, you want to take that first step and you need to be vulnerable in a sense because you're opening up to someone you don't know. You're explaining your financial situation. In a way, you feel like someone is judging you, which is, it's not ideal. That's not what we're here for, but it can feel like that. But you're seeking professional advice for a reason. You know something is wrong. You want to be able to improve your situation for yourself, for your family, for your future. So I guess in a way, I see clients who are willing to open up and who are willing to, like you say, trust the process. And then you see clients where they're not quite there. Something is holding them back. They've got barriers. And there might be various reasons for that. I mean, you could probably delve into this a little bit more, but the clients that aren't quite willing to take that next step, I mean, you can provide the best plan for it, your clients. But if they're not going to stick to it, then it's not worth it. So it's a mindset game.
It's not worth it at all. And the problem that I'm seeing at the moment is, look, reality is there's a lot of information out there. If it be Google, if it be your friendship circles, if it be whatever, and they're trusting those sources rather than a trained professional. Yes. And, it's common, for example, in insurance that, we will come up and give an insurance recommendation. Ultimately, what we're finding is that there's a gap within a person's scenario where if an event happened like a death, a total permanent disablement, a critical illness or an injury or illness, that there will be a financial gap between where they are now and if that event happened, and we need to fill that gap. And there's two different ways you can fill that gap. Number one, you can do it through self-insurance. So if you have assets that you can call on to then push into that gap to then fill it, or you have an insurance policy that then fills that gap. Now, there's not many people that can self-insure, and then what we do find is as you become more financially free, and then your insurance requirements actually start to diminish because your passive investments and your liquid investments can fill that gap. However, we'll come up with the levels of insurance that they need based on their unique scenario. We'll come back to them, obviously, with what it's going to cost them from a premium perspective, and they're then going to their mates in the tool shed that are saying you don't need 2.3 million of life and TPD, you only need 800,000. And what baffles me is that, and it does frustrate me, is that we go through this very, very tedious process to figure out the right medication for the diagnosis. And yet someone of a totally different field, who ultimately they just trust more than us, they're making their decisions on. And now, I use this as if you're going to go build a house and your engineer comes back with your engineering report and tells you how you need to build your house. It's interesting how someone will not say to their engineer, oh, nah, that's not the timber that I want to put in the house. They're just going to go, all right, that's what the engineer said. That's what we're going to go with.
Yep.
And so people need to start trusting their advisors more.
Yeah.
Not trusting the sources that are on the internet, because there's so many different opinions in so many different ways that have, it's prescribing medication that could either really, really help you or kill you. They need to trust professionals where there's regulation that sits behind our decision. So for us to come up with that recommendation on how much that person needs, there needs to be substantial evidence to how we got to that. And there needs to be research and data, not just about the coverage that the person needs, but also then the policies that sit behind those to then be appropriate. And we sign off to those recommendations like a doctor does with prescription, making sure that that diagnosis is for you, the right dosage. Now, Ayten, we've got kids. You wouldn't want to go against the doctor's recommendation in regards to the dosage for children. You're always making sure the dosage is exactly what the doctor
Absolutely.
says, because you're scared of what that's going to impact to the people you
Yes.
love. Now, if you love your family and you love your financial future, then what that provides for your family, having that wrong diagnosis or wrong medication can detrimentally affect your situation. Now, that's just insurances. When you talk around even some of the decision making where people don't trust the process around investing, or if it be around superannuation recommendations. Oh, I want to stay with this particular super fund because my mate reckons it's a good super fund. Who's your mate? Oh, he's just someone I trust. I had a psychotherapist on the last episode, and we were talking about really successful people, and I'm not talking about financially, just like in life. They have a really, really good support network around them. But their support network, you take that a little bit further, are specialists in those fields. Do you get me? People need to start cutting through the bullshit, getting rid of that information, that confirmation bias, that trusting the wrong advice, and really all this is doing is you making decisions based on emotion, not based on logic, and really trust professionals. And in a way, Ayten, you got to make yourself feel vulnerable. You actually got to trust the process. It's like, when you first, I still remember when I fell in love with Bourgeois, there's this kind of, is she going to hurt me? Yeah, because I've been hurt before. So, but I need to let my heart open up to her, because if I open up my heart to her, she's going to open up my heart and we're going to have a beautiful life together. Yeah. But if I didn't hold my heart and I kind of listen to my mates, and you don't hold yourself down and you're too young and that, this would never happen between me and my wife. This is the same process when it comes to your advisor, but obviously in a professional setting.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I think in this day and age where you've got the social media and people are just, just providing you with the information. You're constantly flicking through. They're just 30 seconds of information. If you go and do a search on super funds, you've got thousands of information. You trying to decipher what's right for you and your situation is difficult, because you don't have the knowledge like a financial advisor would have the knowledge. We've got years of experience, years of education behind us to kind of, and like you say, the rigorous testing as well. We've got the tools. So to trust someone on social media, to trust your friend, they might be coming from a good place, but they're confusing you because a professional is telling you what to do. It's like a solicitor. Do you know how to draw up wills? No. Do you know how to, draw up a contract for the sale of a house? You go to a professional, you seek professional advice for that. So it's really about, like you say, just cutting out the bullshit and focusing on who's working in your best interest. Yeah. Because your friend might be telling you something, but they've got a different experience from you.
And they might really like you, but they don't realise that they're affecting you.
Yes.
Yeah. And everyone wants to give you their opinion.
Oh, absolutely. Unsolicited opinion everywhere.
All the time. How many people in your friendship group or whatever are actually millionaires? And I want to use millionaires as like millionaires outside your house. Yeah. How many are millionaires? Yep. Well, the stats tell us that 3% of the Australian adult population are millionaires. So out of all of your friends, let's just use the sample size of your friends, 3% of them are.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now, from those 3%, how many of them have taught hundreds, if not thousands, of other people to become financially free?
Yeah.
Because they might have got lucky.
Yeah.
Luck plays a part in some of these millionaire statuses. Sure. So when they're telling me this stuff, you can probably see me even getting worked up on this because it really, really frustrates me that people want to become financially free. They want to live a better life. They want to stop being stuck. They want to move forward. They want to create a better financial future. But then they go back to the people that didn't help them in the first place.
Yeah.
You're only going to get better by learning from people who are better than you. Yeah. And also looking at it not emotionally, but looking at it logically.
Yeah, absolutely. And like give it time as well, because you can't make changes in 3 minutes. You know, you've got to give it time. You need to plant the seeds. So, for example, you're not going to be financially free. If one of your goals is to be financially free, that's not going to happen overnight. It's not about, selecting the next stock that's going to go up in 6 months' time. No one can predict that. It's about having those habits, the mindset, the consistency to do that over a long period of time. And like you say, some people might get lucky, but they are fully focused, for example, in stocks. We know the stats around, shares and investing. All they're doing is watching the markets. Now, if you want a life like that, yeah, great.
Yeah.
But 9 times out of 10, you're not going to make it. It's the 1 in 10 that it's going to potentially be a 10-bagger, for example, if you're investing.
Exactly. And that could be said for property. It could be said for winning the lotto. You can't leave your financial future to luck and chance.
Yes.
Remove luck and chance away and focus on a clear strategy. And see, this is the other thing. It's like, it's sad because most people won't realize that you making poor decisions right now is really going to screw up your financial future, because we talk about compounding interest and how great it is for investments. People should do more research into compounding losses. And you make a bad mistake over a bad mistake and a bad mistake. I say 3 degrees off course on your trip to Paris, you're ending up in a holiday in Bangladesh and not in Paris.
Yeah.
That 3 degrees in regards to your financial future, you're working for 10 years longer. Maybe 15. But Ayten, when are you going to realise that? You're going to realise when it's too late. And then time doesn't become your best friend. And then you're taking your risks to a whole nother level, trying to get some luck along the way when you didn't need to.
You're playing catch up.
You're playing catch up. And then the reality is that by the time you get to that stage, you're looking to wind down. So you're only really going to realise your problem when you open up the aeroplane and you realise that you're not in Paris and you're in Bangladesh and go, oh my gosh.
Yeah. But then it's too late.
Then it's too late.
Yeah.
So by you not listening and sticking to the plan, letting time be your best friend, being patient, where are you ending up? Where are you ending up for your kids? We're just about to get $4 trillion passed from the baby boomers to the millennials.
Yeah.
The 3% that out of those, then the 1% out of those 3% that get them right, they're going to be into the stratosphere. But the rest of them, rich are getting richer, poor are getting poorer. Rich are getting richer, poor are getting poorer. Rich are getting richer, poor are getting poorer. And so by you thinking you want to change and not executing on it, what's that doing?
Yeah.
And then the matter of fact around just seeing how after year 2, after year 3, after year 4, it does become easier. And so you got to be vulnerable. You got to let yourself trust the process. Then build. I went boxing last night, Ayten. Yeah, so I haven't been boxing in a long, long time. And I'm boxing and I'm sweating profusely. I'm feeling like I just want to give up. And I get that. That's the big changes. I can't see the rewards. It's not like you going to the gym. I rock up, I got a massive six pack and I'm ready for 10 rounds. Yeah. But it was interesting what the trainer said last night. And I learned from so many good coaches and trainers. And he goes, hey guys, great session tonight. It will get easier, I promise you. But the hardest thing is rocking up next week.
Yeah.
And rocking up the next week. But I can promise you, it will get easier. Now, he didn't take a time frame on that. But the reality, probably in boxing, after doing 10 sessions, you're going to be reflecting and go, remember when I came in here and I couldn't throw those punches? Now I'm doing proper combos.
Yeah.
But in our world, year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, year 6, after year 4, 5, 6, it does get easier. But how many people drop off? Well, our most drop-off rate in Thriving Wealth is in the first 3 years. People want to change. They think they want to change, but don't really want to. And they resort back to the old behaviors. We try. We are so focused in regards to working with psychologists and neuroscientists and psychotherapists in regards to, and working with other coaches in regards to creating these people to have the right behaviors and the right habits. But they still go back to their old ways.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. We have a lot of people that do succeed, but I'm saying that I am obsessed with the small percentage of that don't, because I feel that they're one step away from getting it right.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted to discuss today.
Yeah. And I think, like, obviously you can see the passion, right? You want everyone who steps through these doors to achieve what they set out to achieve. I mean, that's the whole goal of us being here. We want to help people who want to be helped. The mindset, which is what Thriving Wealth is really focusing on, it's not just about the financial plan, it's about the mindset. Because if you don't change the mindset and the habits, then we're not going to break through those barriers. When you were talking earlier, reminded me of a friend who I was wanting to build a house. So they did the engineering themselves. They dug a hole, whatever it was. And then they went to the builder and said, like, start building my house. And they're like, okay, no, well, you've done this. I don't know what's happened here. We've got to fix this problem. Now that's cost them an extra $50,000 or $60,000, whatever it was. They were trying to save money by doing it themselves, but they stuffed it up because they didn't listen to the professional. Kind of goes back to the story about in a few years' time, they're going to see what's happened and what they've left behind and what they didn't achieve because of the mindset and what was holding them back, and they can do it better themselves. So it all comes back to the mindset. If you're willing to go see a financial advisor, you need to be open and trust the process. We know compounding interest, it doesn't take effect in the first year. It doesn't take effect in the second year. It takes effect, 7-10 years from now. But that's when you can really see compounding interest working. You've just got to trust the process.
And Ayten, the old saying, a poor man pays twice, is so true.
Yeah.
But in life, those poor mistakes, you pay along the way. And if you're not surrounding yourself with people that are more successful than you, how are you going to learn to become successful? Now, are you successful? Because successful is, how do I become healthier? I'm going to go to people I'm not going to go to a trainer who's overweight, drinks rubbish, then eats rubbish and whatever. Correct. I want to go to someone who's living and breathing it, absolutely obsessed with it, and we're doing the 1%ers. Now, I know to become that person, that's 20 years of that person doing it, or 10 years doing that. And I'm going to learn from them to become successful in my health. I've been doing this for 20 years. You've known me for a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely obsessed with it. If someone is more obsessed in what I do more than me, please come see me.
Yeah.
I will get you on that chair and we will have it. We'll chat this out, because I would love to hear your side of things about it. Now, for someone then to say to me that, no, I should not be doing that because of my mate, please get your mate next to me, please. Because the people who have listened to me do become financially free. Like, it's not even... like, I'm trying to actually go through my head and think about, like, the people that have been with me for, say, 10 years plus who aren't living the life that we set out to or more.
Yeah.
And I actually can't think of one that is underachieved where we thought they were going to be. And I don't build plans unless someone's going to become financially free and live the life they want. Or else we don't build the plan. Yeah. Straight up. If we're not having a strategic direction on the person becoming financially free and living their fulfilled life, we do not proceed to the next stage. So it really does frustrate me that there's so much information that people are listening to. They're still getting barbecue advice. They're still not trusting the process. And it's hard to ask for trust. I can't say to someone like, trust me.
Yeah.
When someone says trust me, it's like this whole kind of, why is he saying trust me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Trust is built over time. It's by understanding the person's values and the person who they are. And obviously this podcast has helped really, really a lot. And thank you for everyone who's listening to this podcast and watching our videos. And there's been so many people that have watched, this platform and then obviously come to see us and help to build that trust because they really understand our passion and what we believe in. But there's still a small percentage which frustrated the hell out of me
Yeah.
that need to break through the things we discussed today. Because I don't know, Ayten, it's like I get, I don't know, maybe even like a father, you know, when you like someone your kid disappoints you, it's like not that it's at that level, but I get that sense of like
I'm
I
not
know what
angry.
you wanted. I know what you wanted for your
Yeah.
family. You opened up to me, but yet because of the support group you've got around you, you're trusting people that are making decisions not based on logic and research and professional opinion
Yeah.
and legislative frameworks that ensure that you're in your best interest. You're just getting it
Correct.
off a whim.
Yeah.
And especially, I don't know, maybe it is because I'm a parent, but like especially when people have young kids,
Yeah.
because I know that it's not getting easier, and their poor decision making and the decisions they're making now, what that's doing for their family. I've got the foresight because I've seen what it's done to families that have, and where they've ended up versus people who haven't listened now.
Yeah.
And yeah, sorry, I'm getting worked up. But it does frustrate me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for example, when someone comes to see you, they open up, they tell you everything like we're talking about, they're being vulnerable. At the same time, the person who's giving you the advice, they don't know what your goals and aspirations are. You might tell them 1/10 of what you've told us. So they're going off just 1/10 of what you've told them and making and providing unsolicited advice based off that. So how are they don't have your best interest at heart. We, like you said, with the legislative framework, but also because we're passionate about what we're doing for clients and wanting them to achieve, we've got the best interest at heart. So yeah, definitely it's frustrating, and more so for you because you've done this for 20 years with the business. You can see when clients come to you, yes, we can achieve this. We can work together to achieve it. And I want to be there when you do achieve it. I want to celebrate those milestones. I want you to be happy. I want to see you happy. Yeah, it's a
And the
difficult.
thing is, Ayten, as well too. It's like for me personally, everything my team is instructing my clients is not just something that we've learnt in textbooks. This has been done for me. Like ultimately, everything that we've gone through has been tried and tested with John and John's family.
Yeah,
And so if I'm 35 now, Ayten, and I'm the ability to say, you know what, that's it, I'm done. I'm just going to holiday for the rest of my life because that's my thing. I'm not in the position where I want to hold that to me. I don't want to say, oh, Ayten, I'm not telling you. It's not that. That's not in my value set.
yeah,
I'm in the value set around, all right, Ayten, this is what I did. This is everything I did. This is the mistakes I made. It's not going to take. It took me 21 years to be where I am now. I started when I was 14. Yeah. And also I remember what my dad was doing when I was 5, 6 years old around financial literacy. And we talk about financial literacy for kids. But what I'm trying to do for everyone is condense that and say, all right, well, let's just jam pack that into, imagine I can do that in 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. And so if you don't want to listen to your own plan, hopefully I can inspire you by the way that I do things and the way that I live. Now, hopefully I'm not saying that in a cocky way. I'm saying that in a way that like, I try and set myself as the right example for the people that want to entrust their financial future and their family's financial future in me. This is the way that I live. And a lot of people listen and follow myself. And it's interesting, Ayten, like a lot of my friends now are clients, and then like they now become friends because you share the same values.
yes,
And so if you care about your family, if you want to be financially free and not shackled to having to do the 9 to 5 every single day for the rest of your days, and you want to be in a position where you're able to still enjoy life and not sacrifice on your life, what we do here is exactly that. It's a proven process over hundreds, if not thousands of people over the last 16 years in this business, plus also the validation of obviously all of what the clients have said over that period of time, and also a living and breathing example of myself. Like, I don't know how much more I can help that small percentage, or the people that are listening here that are wanting to give up. Don't give up. don't shy away from the hard stuff. There was a comment that from one of my followers on LinkedIn, really, really good. Like from Ronnie Coleman, which is a famous bodybuilder. If you guys don't know who it is, everyone wants to be a bodybuilder, but no one wants to lift the heavy ass weights. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're going to have to lift the heavy ass weights. Get that. But over time, those heavy ass weights become light.
Correct. Yeah.
So I really want the people that feel like giving up, don't give up. Success is just around the corner. Yes, there's going to be failures and there's going to be things that are going to knock you down, but get through. The people that are not wanting to or think that they can do that themselves, think about Ayten's friends exercise. Doing it yourself. What is it really costing you? Yeah. And you can't take full emotion away from your own money unless you get someone else to look at it. And then if you get someone else to look at it, they need to be trained and have the legislative framework to ensure that it's in your best interest. Because even if I listen to my mum and dad, who love me, the advice that they would give me is wrong. Why? They're emotionally connected to me. Also, their risk tolerance, their beliefs, their trauma is put on me. Yeah. So we have the legislative framework, the process to remove that. So it must be in their best interest. There must be research and a logical frame of mind and a clear strategy to remove all of that. Mm. And then you're doing it because cost. When you boil it mainly down to is, I don't want to feel vulnerable, but there's also an element of, I don't want to pay for someone to change me. Yeah. So they say the cost of the financial cost and the cost of the effort that needs to be done. But it boils down to, do you really want a better life?
Yeah.
And if you want a better life, does the cost outweigh the benefit?
Kind of goes back to the post that you had. What's costing you not to get the advice?
What does it cost? Like, I kind of think to myself, like, how much would you pay to have the person who you role model your life off to be in the chair right next to you? So we'll do an example like, Ayten, how much would, I know your husband likes stocks, how much would he pay to sit one-on-one with Warren Buffett?
Yeah, probably a lot of money.
Yeah, he'd probably be saying, let's redraw the house. Yeah, let's see what I can do, just so I can have one-on-one sessions with Warren Buffett. Now, I'm using that as an example, as like, if you want to do boxing, because we're just talking about boxing, how much would I pay for Muhammad Ali to be sitting in that chair and teaching me? Is it really a cost? That's an investment for me to elevate my boxing game to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so if I don't get that, if I wanted to do basketball, how much would I pay for Jordan? Not even Jordan. Like, let's go to Australia and just do Andrew Gaze. Like, how much would I pay? Like, that's what people don't see. Like, you're costing yourself the opportunity to learn to get to the whole nother level.
Yeah.
And that even if you worked with Jordan, yeah, he might get your footwork working over the next, 3 weeks, but you're going to be a changed basketballer over 18 months. Yeah. But really, how much are you going to change in 3 weeks? Yeah. So, and that's the best basketballer of all time teaching you your basketball.
Yeah.
So, this cost mentality is a scarcity mentality. It's a mindset block. Now, it doesn't mean that you go spend money in just willy-nilly. Yes, social media world, there is a lot of scammers, and I'm talking about people that come out and they say that they're financial gurus and they're financial specialists and they use all of the words under the sun. Listen, there is about 13,000 financial advisors in the country. Out of those 13,000, they are rigorously tested. There's high education standards and they can provide you with financial advice. Now, from those 13,000, how many of them work on the behavioral side of things to actually help you through mindset, behavioral coaching, all of that stuff? A dozen at best. Okay? So it depends on what you're looking for. But if you're looking for what I think is what people need to do is help change your behaviors, because it's your behaviors that are stopping you from getting to where you need to get to. And the only way to become successful is surround yourself or hire someone who is successful at what they're doing to help you to break through that.
Yeah.
I know I'm passionate about
big
it,
topic.
I wanted to get it out there because It's not getting easier,
Yeah.
Ayten.
Oh, absolutely not. But I mean, when you think about it, for example, Roger Federer, he had a coach. I mean, he's one of the best players in the world has a coach.
And correct. And when you're at that stage, it's the reason why, for example, like I have Anthony, who's my advisor, and the reason is those 1%ers. It's that, hey, John, you're making a emotional decision with your money, or hey, John, you're not noticing what Burja wants. Hey, John, this is what the plan tells you. Stop chasing the shiny object. And so, Roger Federer, it's as simple as, your hand went too high on the serve and you need to bring it down 10 mil. Because if you get it 10 mil, I saw it come over the net, because he can't see that.
Yeah.
And so what we can see what's happening in the person's behaviors and emotions is the same way as the coach is seeing what's going on there. And it's interesting, like, we find that the people who continuously surround ourselves with us and engage with us at the highest level, they end up improving so much. But I look at, for example, if you look at like soccer or whatever, and you look at like they hear about Cristiano Ronaldo, and the way that he would train. Like at Real Madrid, like he'd come in and he's training the house down. And so all of a sudden, you as the other players are looking around going, I wonder why he's winning the Ballon d'Or. Like, I want to now step up to be at that level. Now, what did that do to Luka Modric? What did that do to Ramos? What did that do to Bale? What did that do to all of Benzema? Well, there's 3 Ballon d'Or winners in that team that went, well, Cristiano was the first. Now, I'm sure if you spoke to Benzema or you spoke to Modric, and these are all really, really good soccer players for people that don't know, what influence did that success happen to that team?
Yep.
From just modeling the behavior. So it's not, they were all probably natural talents, but to go to that next level, and some people we find need to go to that next level, and the only way to do that is by doing that. And it's the reason why I look for mentors and I look for people. I've got so much to grow, so much to learn. And it's around me finding someone who's going to take me to that next level. And if you think you know it all, I can assure you, you do not know all, and there's ways that you want to learn. But at the end of the day, Ayten, it's, do you want to change? Do you really want to change? And when we talk about change, do you want to grow?
Yep.
Because change is uncomfortable. Okay, but the most successful people get comfortable with feeling uncomfortable and actually feel uncomfortable when they are comfortable. And they want to push themselves into that uncomfortable position, because when they're uncomfortable, they feel like growing. And so this is a lot of chit chat from a lot of people that I want to be financially free. I want fire. I want this. And they're on Facebook groups searching all this, and they're going on all. Mate, if you want to become financially free, go see what someone who's become financially free, knows how to do it, has a proven process, removes all the emotion, and you will become financially free. If you want to skirt around it and kind of delay it and be 3 degrees off course, rock up when you're 60s or 70s and go, oh my gosh, I don't have the world. And then they either have regret, or 2, they become, okay, well, this is what I've been served, this is what I'll be. But you don't need to be that. The choices you made put you in that position. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up there before I get really heated. But Ayten, everyone, thank you very much for joining us on this podcast. Thanks very much for your contribution today. And if you're loving these podcasts, make sure you subscribe to us on all the major platforms, and also on YouTube as well too. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, thanks.